Okay. I'm Jackson. I'm a second year student at Rutgers studying music, and my primary instrument is cello.
I'm Emma. I'm also a second year. I'm 20, if that's important. I feel like this is a real thing, so we should mention our ages.
Oh.
This one's 19.
Yeah.
But I'm a vocal education student. Okay, you want to give some clarity on your identity?
So
Identity theft.
I would consider myself non-binary. My pronouns are they, he. At the moment, I identify most with the label queer. I'm also still comfortable with being gay. I feel like I still very much align with a lot of other gay men. I don't know. It's complicated. That's the story. It's complicated, and it's okay that it's complicated.
Real.
And I'm not in any rush to make it less complicated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I, as of maybe last year, am now identifying as lesbian in the framework of being attracted to non-men.
So I came out when I was very young. It was just before my 12th birthday. I came out to the first person. I feel like all of a sudden one day I was just like, oh, I like these kinds of people, and this makes sense to me, and I'm just gonna go with it. I never really had any second thoughts.
I feel like my story is a lot different.
Yeah.
So I come from a really strangely religious background. So my dad's whole family is Mormon. My mom had a lot of family raised in Christian Science. And then I was raised Methodist, which wasn't outright homophobic, but there was still a lot of kind of underpinnings within the religion, obviously. I kind of started coming to terms with the fact that I'm not interested in men, and kind of adopting this term lesbian was really I don't know, empowering for me in college to just take this term and be yes, this is what I am, and I can be proud of that, and I can feel this is something I am proud of and unique for. So I think that's kind of my journey of coming into my own sexuality in that way. I think most notably when it comes to some of my hurdles as a queer person growing up is I did grow up in a very conservative town. So I was witness to a lot of hate crimes that happened in my hometown. It's such a tough thing for high schoolers to go through, and the way that at 16, 17, I was faced with a decision of do something to make myself happy in a relationship, and do something that is kind of a rite of passage for high schoolers, and have this relationship and go to the prom and do all these things, or possibly be the cause of someone else having a really traumatic experience. So I don't know, I think I've had an interesting queer experience. I feel like I've only really experienced radical acceptance or radical unacceptance.
Mm-hmm.
There's no neutrality. It's only acceptance or intolerance. Do we want to talk about identity? Do you want to give any kind of clarity about your identity?
I love how I was done in 45 seconds.
I know. Mine's a little bit more topsy-turvy. I talk about this night to a lot of people pretty extensively, because I was never a really spiritual person. There's not really I don't know, spiritual in the way of soulmates and twin flames and everything, but I don't know, I tell a lot of people, I'm when I met Jackson, there was something very different about that first encounter. I don't know if you have the same experience.
I probably didn't, but I will say I have a very hard time talking to people I don't know.
Yeah.
I get generally very quiet, and am awkward and don't know what to say to new people. But, like, I had no problem talking to Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a unique relationship in that we're not always the nicest to each other. We can be a little aggressive.
Well, I think that also, like, our sort of relationship dynamics are more like siblings than friends. I think that really also plays into our queerness.
It's the kinship. It's the familial connection. It's really unique. Is there any, like, specific ways in which there's an intersectionality of our dynamics and, like, our queerness?
Why are you asking the questions?
Oh, no, I was just, like, trying to bounce off. Like, do you have any thoughts about that specifically?
You gotta repeat. I wasn't paying attention.
I think in the context of our relationship specifically, we've had numerous conversations about how nice and helpful it is to have a friend who, like, very much sexualities do not align.
Yeah.
Like, there is... I think that we were never... Like, you were never able to experience with men, and I was never able to experience with women, like, having something that only ever could be a purely platonic relationship in both ways. So finding someone that it can only ever be purely platonic in any way.
Well,
listen. Anyway.
Not with you.
Gee, thanks.
I feel like I can come to you, you know, about things relating to my identity, and you will have, you know, you'll be able to understand where I'm coming from genuinely. Yeah.